everyone, Clofrost here, and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how I make my LPS custom, specifically how I do the clay. Now, before I start the video, a lot of you have been wanting to see what I use, and although I did show this in one of my Q&As, I will go over this again. I'm just showing off different brands that I use of paint. Basically, you can just use any kind of acrylic paint you want for your customs. You can also use nail polish if you don't have any, but it's not recommended. But if you're okay with using nail polish, then go ahead. In terms of clay, I use this brand called Color Plus, which isn't really a professional brand, and obviously you can use any kind of brand of clay you want. Just try out different brands, see what you like. Now also, when I sculpt with clay, I use Mod Podge after, and I use water to make the clay easier to work with. So when I'm not using the clay, I use this Ziploc container and saran wrap to seal the clay to make sure it doesn't dry out. Now for my customs, sometimes I also use sculpting tools. I use just a variety of different things. Yet again, find what you like. I also use sponges sometimes. I have a rolling pin, as you can see. I also have more tools like in this pack. And I don't use them that often, although I think I should, but I find I'm just better with using my hands. So before I start sculpting, and also in between, I get my hands wet so that I can maneuver the clay and make it smoother so that it has a nicer outcome. So when I'm making the custom, I start off by placing a huge piece of clay wherever I want it, and I kind of just sculpt it around. It depends what I'm doing. As you can see here, I'm patching up the hole that was left on the burnt mark. There was like a burnt mark on the back of the head, so I was patching that up so that I can make it look as if it wasn't there before. So I'm just basically smoothing it down with water and making it so that it doesn't look like there's clay. I'm making it like smooth into the base of the LPS, and that's what you kind of want to go for, so that it looks as if you didn't sculpt onto the LPS, or else then it's gonna kind of look weird, unless if like certain pieces, of course, you want that look where it's like not fully seamed onto the LPS. But if you're sculpting on like a body part, like an extra arm, it's recommended, or like something like that, you should probably like smooth it down so that with water, so that it looks as if it's already on the LPS. Although things like clothing, if you're adding like let's say like you want to add like a bandana on the front of your LPS, you don't want to do that with stuff like that, because or else then you don't want the bandana to like go into the LPS, because the bandana is a separate clothing item that's supposed to look like you can take it off. Now, I didn't record me actually making like the fins and the tail, as you can see, and I also modified the back of the head a bit, but this is my final result of me sculpting. So now you're going to want to take your Mod Podge, any kind. I use matte for this part, but you can use gloss if you want to. Now you might be wondering why I'm using Mod Podge now. So basically what I'm doing is because a lot of the time, as you can see, it does, like, my parts after they dry, a lot of the time they crack and break off. So this is a very easy way to repair your custom before you paint them, and also fill in those cracks so that it doesn't look as if it's cracked. Personally, with air dry clay, there is a method that you do get uncracked clay. I believe you have to like get it wet very frequently. But if you're a person like me who dries their customs overnight, you don't have time to wake up in the middle of the night and just to like make sure your clay doesn't crack. But so right now I'm just repairing the tail because a bit fell off, and I'm putting on Mod Podge around and on the clay bits so that they don't fall off in the future. Although I have had cases like something like the fin on his back might break after the custom is done because I might drop them by accident. Of course, you can easily either sculpt on a smaller bit again or find the piece and glue it back on with Mod Podge. So I do warn you, this isn't a greatest way to make customs that you're going to be very rough with, unless if the pieces are they're not off the LPS, if you know what I'm getting, like if they're not in the air, then it's not as bad. But if you have pieces that are sticking up and like the tail, my fins, these little spikes, those could fall off in the future. But I mean, hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry if this wasn't really detailed, and hopefully I'll maybe make a painting tutorial, and maybe I could do a more in-depth version of something like this. Personally, this was a very fun video to make, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you learned from it. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe I can make a painting tutorial in the future. Keep on rocking, guys. Bye!